Welcome back to my channel. This is Supercoach Challenges, and you may be wondering where I've been for the good part of half a year / the start of this season. And to be honest, I've been a bit busy, but also was rethinking, the whole idea of this channel, because what I wanted was to be able to create a channel that was a little bit different, that was more trying to create a challenge team that could maybe be all right, maybe be something different. Supercoach doesn't always have to be serious. And what I found is it did work great. I quite enjoyed it, but I also found out that Supercoach quite strict on you having more than one account. And I thought, well, you know what? Supercoach is hard enough already as it is, so we might as well just use my normal team. And you know what? I'm not the best player at Supercoach ever. I think my highest rank I've ever finished is like 6,000, which was about 3 years ago. But I do try some different stuff, and that's what is good about Supercoach. Everyone brings something different, and you know what? It's a lot better when we go badly because you have something to laugh at. Like, it's a lot better to laugh at me cracking up over players than everything going smoothly. If everything goes smoothly, it is interesting to see where we get to, but I definitely think it's just like good to sit here as a community and just be like, man, I feel your pain. And that's exactly what you're going to get after the what you see has happened with my team this year for the first 3 rounds. Because you look at this score this week and you go, man, top 2,700. He must be in like the top, 10,000 easily. And then you see the season ranking, it's 50,146. And you go, what has happened? And I'll tell you what, there was a lot of things that went wrong with my team this year. And it was quite funny, but you know what? I was able to turn it around with some good trades last week. Probably also because a lot of people had Gold Coast players, which I don't necessarily have, which allowed me to have a bit of a leg up. Also, the round previous, you'll see that I probably have one more premium out than most teams. But anyway, this is where we sit. And, you might want to turn off now. But if you do, go on. If you don't, stick around because it's going to be a ride. And this is my team, Curtain Call, Supercoach Challenges, probably changing the name. We'll see what the rebrand brings us at some point in time. But for now, this is the team, and I am going to be posting more frequently now. I just wasn't sure, like after last year, I was like, oh, is this going to work for content? I just want to do something different. It was getting like a bit too serious for me as well. Because I was running 2 teams, I was having to think about both, and like I do get what other people say about like you want to be doing well, and like I was wanting to make good moves on my other team, seeing as that was the whole point of it, and it did get a bit stressful. So now there's one team, one focus. This is Curtain Call, and let's have a look. So if you'd like to know what this team looked like to be so bad, I think it's probably what I probably fit into that main mold of what made a lot of teams go, I guess, badly from the start of this year, which was starting in your defense. It was Short and Hayden Young, and that's what was in my defense. Short and Hayden Young, and I think I didn't have D'Ambrosio, as you see here now. Brought him in last week. But we'll go through the trades anyway. And what else was here? Zach Williams, obviously. I had Gibkiss. Who else must have been in my defense? Actually, I've got it here. I did set this up earlier. 1 second. Ooh. Oh, this is going to play volume. All right. No matter. And it would have been going to the history. So yeah, I had Gibkiss, but I don't know how I moved the defense around to be like this. Anyway, it was a mess, right? So we had probably like Gibkiss, and then it was Williams, Howes, and yeah, Gibkiss there. And we had Reed, and we must have had Short, Young, then Williams, yeah. And then we moved the defense around to fit how it is right now, which was just absolute horror, like 265s to Young and in him, and it's just like holding that was horrible. And like I think this is like pretty relatable to most people from last week. I felt like they just had to be moved. They were going to lose big money, and also you couldn't like I understand the whole holding, but we have 40 trades, so just trade them. Like we're still, I've used 2 this week, and I still don't. I'm still not at the amount of trades we started. Well, I'm just under what we started with last year at the start. So, and I've still got like 4 boosts if I decide to use this one, and 3 boosts left. So it's like whatever, just do it. And yeah, from there, so my midfield was a lot different. In the midfield, I had Holmes, who I've currently traded this week, and yeah, a few others, but I brought Sarong in last week for sure, and really was able to bolster up my midfield because with Sarong, because it was stressful. Like I just saw him just going absolutely huge and not knowing what I could do about it. From there, we moved to I started with Tom Green. That was great. Martin. I had Martin and Hewitt, and Hewitt had the bye in that second week, which really hurt my scoring that week because I had Martin, Bonner, and I had Sam Berry, and Berry was an absolute horror, and now he's back in the team, being named again. But anyway, trade's a trade. It's done now, but we are back to here. And last week it just all clicked. I think for the people who traded out Martin, they might be looking to get him back in. Martin literally always had this role. He just wasn't using the ball well. His disposals were 26, 30. He had 40 last week, which went to 136. But if he can get some efficiency into his gameplay, which maybe get playing the role a bit more, will get him. We might see some bigger scores, some 150s off of like 30 disposal games. So, a lot to go here. Hewitt, I thought was really, really good. The first week he played, he was getting CBAs. Walsh is out. He was playing and there were Cripps. Kennedy was moved forward. It just seemed like Hewitt was stuck in there. And the second week when they played Richmond, I just thought the ball just kept going to the opposite side of wherever he was at the CBAs. He just kept missing it. And then against North, it clicked. And he got the 124. People were saying that he was tagging LDU. Not sure I'm fully convinced. I don't know. He had 9 clearances, which was equal to Cripps, and he had 26 disposals, 27 disposals, whatever, and quite a few contested. I think it was like 11 or 12 contested. I just think LDU was like his efficiency really hurt him. That was me watching the game. I thought that Hewitt didn't seem to be sticking to him that hard. Like, I think it was just whatever side he was on. I actually saw him standing on power quite a bit, so maybe that was when he kind of let him off in that third quarter, and I think LDU had like 9 or 10 disposals. But I don't know, I just didn't see it. Now, Bonner had the record for turnovers, but turnovers are different to clangers apparently. Apparently, turnover can be a long kick that gets taken and kicked back. So I don't think we need to worry about Bonner. I'm kind of wanting to trade him, but kind of can't. So anyway, he is where he is. Robert Supercoach, I'm trying to get them on the field. I think I went too heavy in here, which is why I've traded Holmes, which is probably early. I went Holmes the first week and actually started with Holmes. The reason being is I had a 5 mid setup, which was Bont, Green, Martin, Hewitt, and it was Connor Rosie because I wanted something different to Butters for a bit cheaper. And I thought he was also a little bit less injury prone. First round went pretty average to start off with. Like, I think Fremantle must have played. Did they play earlier that round? They play earlier. No, Fremantle played last. But what was it? Carlton played. And it was Heaney. Heaney went off, and I didn't have Heaney. I didn't start Heaney. My board line was a lot different to what it is now. It was like Rankin, Fisher, who just went horrid. And I didn't like the Fisher pick, but I felt forced into it because of how he scored the week before. And then it was like I didn't have Fife, and I had James Jordan, who I've traded out this week as well. So they were like the guys I had. And then and I started with Gorn Grundy. I love Gorn. I think he's probably the best player. I think English is obviously good. I would have liked to start English Gorn, but Grundy was just too cheap and had that scoring ability, and we'd seen it a little bit. So I just thought, just go Grundy. He was also popular, which kind of helps. But I think English is a great pod because I think he's actually going to stay a pod because I think a lot of people are going to go to Marshall because English is too expensive. So yeah. But from there, I mean, this is going to be a longer video. I'm trying to not do them as long as what my previous videos were because they were like 30 minutes, but this one's, we're catching up, guys. So anyway, onward from there. Yeah, I didn't have Heaney. Had Rankin. I think he went 80. Honestly, Rankin is averaging 80 and the Crows are playing badly. I think he could get up to 100 and at least be like your F6 if the Crows can get on a bit of a roll again. I think Nix is going to change things up, and at some point he'll try and give Rankin a bit more midfield run. It's not going to happen this week. They've brought in Berry. They're putting who they have. They still have Dawson, Laird, Crouch is on the bench, and there was someone else they put in the midfield. But Keys was named in the midfield, and Saligo is also getting CBAs. But I think Rankin needs to get some more. I think he looks really good in there. I think he looks really, really clean with the ball. And I know we want him as a goal kicker, but get someone who can get the ball in. It would be good. I know that, Matt Crouch is doing great, and I wish I'd started him. Same with Steele. I was juggling all those players up, but obviously went Martin because of the role, and Stewart was just pottier. But yeah. So from there, I think probably the worst rookie I've kind of gone that actually turned out to be quite potty was Lazaro. But everything I've watched of Lazaro has been quite good. I think he's played really well. I think it's hard for him to get CBAs because obviously they've got Wardlaw and Power now who I brought in this week who I just decided to skip last year. But this really pees me off because I started Power last year. I started Henry last year. I think Henry was averaging is Henry averaging 80 or 90? Actually don't know. What's he averaging? Yeah, he's got 3 round of 73. If these guys did this last year, I would have been top 1,000 easily. But no, I went out a year early. Nash Wangman Malira as well. Don't know why I started him this year, but he's doing all right. These guys I started last year and they went shit, and now they're good and everyone's getting them. And Power really burnt me last year. If you'd seen that team, he was in the 400k team because he was so cheap and he pissed me off. Now he's back in, he's getting CBAs, and he looks like the player I thought he was going to be anyway. So might as well, if you can't beat him, join him. My whole defense is injured. So Hoare and Reed. And I did trade out Gibcus to get Hoare, so that was great. But otherwise, I'll show you the history of the rank and the trades now, because it is pretty bare. So see that second round just killed me. The 1785. This had so much go wrong. I had two of my primos went 60, and a lot of people got saved by the fact that they had Sheasels who I brought in for Young. Sheasel went 125. They didn't have Young short, so that they had the 65 from Young, but that got saved. And then my first round was actually not great as well. Last round was really, really good. So 61k, we went out to all the way to 92k. I think that's the lowest I've ever ranked. And then back up 40,000 this week. Do we have a chance at top 1k? I don't think so. Do we have a chance at top 5? Maybe 10k? Yeah, we can get 10k. I mean, even one of my mates, his teams is what? He's his thousandth, and I think he's only 200 or 300 points in front. And that's a lot of points, but it's all about your training now. So we'll see what happens. Now I meant to go to trade history. So looking at the trade history, as you can see, it was Gibcus and Fisher went for Hoare and Heaney because I'd saved some money that week to be able to, because I knew there was always going to be something you miss. Every year there's always something you miss. I don't mind either starting higher and then trading down or keeping a little bit of money in the bank and then being able to move it around. That's what I did. looking at hindsight, I wish I'd done 3 trades this week and maybe gone like something to Dempsey, who I really want to bring in this week, but I don't know if it's worth it. The points on field could be worth it, like really worth it. But anyway, that's a juggle. Yeah, then I traded Berry, who's playing this week. Great. Young, who had 130. Great. Short, who had 65. But Bolter's injured and someone else was injured that's going to help him. So, yeah, that's kind of annoying as well. Short could actually have a good role now. But, I mean, I couldn't really be mad at Sarong, Sheasel, and D'Ambrosio. So, there it is. And currently, we've gone Holmes out. The only reason Holmes was really gone out, because he had 118 that first game, is because Roberts, McKercher, and Sanders are averaging 8 or 70 to 80, and they're 200k less. Actually, McKercher's better than Roberts, which seems crazy because Roberts has gone 290s back to back, but McKercher had a really good first couple of rounds. I think last week was quite hard. And then I got Bonner, obviously, and like, you know, these guys are scoring enough to where they can be on field, and Holmes is like 460k. He would go up more money. But like he just has this weird role where Chris Scott goes just play in the middle or play on the wing or play in the back line, and we'll just move you around wherever we need you. Martin is getting so much ball. If he stays in that back line, like he's an easy D6, and I want to switch him there as soon as he gets that DPP change. George Hewitt, yeah, just has. He's got the top CBAs at Cullen, so I think that speaks more to it. Even if he's tagging, like he gets so many tackles, and he finds the ball, so I think it's fine. So yeah, BCC this week, I think it's pretty easy. Gornoff is just like he's really good, really good form. I'm going to the game tomorrow, so I will be able to see that up close and personal, which is good. And then Heaney seems like the just obvious C against West Coast. I feel like that's the easiest 130 at least we're going to see from a captain this year, other than Tom Green against West Coast, which was a 148. But otherwise, I think good VCs outside of that. I actually always like to go to Supercoach Plus and go all coaches and just have a look. And has this not updated? Is this right? Why are we not updating? Give me a second. Might just be my computer. All coaches. Okay, yeah, it was. All right, so I like going to most popular VC. So Dacos is still most popular VC. People are worried he's getting the McGuinness tag, I thought. You playing early? Okay, people have just not moved that VC. So a lot of people haven't moved their VC yet. Gorn is next favorite. See, sometimes I like just going against whatever's favorite, but I feel like Gorn's been too good, and I wanted to captain him last week. I lost points because I didn't, because then I had VC so wrong, and then I was like, oh, I need to get a good captain score, and I went to bloody Ontover Heaney and lost points. But so that last week's score could have been better. Realistically, like a lot of people probably got better because of that captain score from Gorn. So, yeah. That was a big miss. I was going to do it as well. I was talking to a mate about it. I was like, oh, should I do it? And if I hadn't VC'd Sarong, I probably would have VC'd Gorn. So that's just unlucky, isn't it? Butters is obviously a good VC. I think he had like 170 something against them one game. Oh, I thought they did. Maybe not. In that case, I don't love Butters against. I thought Essendon was the one he went off against, but maybe I must have been wrong. Sarong, Freeman Cullen's actually a hard one, and he could get a Hewitt tag. They do have a lot of big bodies in there, which could make it hard for Sarong. I think Heaney's like just obvious, and so if you want to go Heaney, VC Heaney, go for something a little different. Like, I don't mind Stewart versus the Dogs because the Dogs tend to like to bomb it in a lot as well. And they're playing at Adelaide Oval, which I think he scores quite well at. Outside of that, Marshall versus Richmond could be good. Actually, Steele versus Richmond could be good because they got no midfield. Brisbane haven't shown much, I think. And if Neil miss, I think Neil might miss. I think that was the news. So if he does miss, could be good for him. Otherwise, Matt Rao, GWS, probably a hard game. Actually, Tom Green isn't even on. Oh yeah, there he is. Tom Green. Tom Green could be interesting. Maybe not as a VC. When do they play? Yeah, so he's more of a captain, but which looks like a lot of people are actually going for. But I don't know. I'd be worried about that captain because, like, we look at Gold Coast, they have hogged a lot of points. Like, they have Noah, Anderson, Rao, Tuke, and Flanders who are all averaging like 100. I don't know. I just feel like it's a bit of a downer game to be captaining him. I'd probably definitely just go on that safe Gorn Heaney at the moment anyway. But I do think Jack Steele is a really interesting one as well as a captain. If you could VC Steele, I think it would be really worth it. But he just plays too late. Norwood Oval is a small oval. So, yeah, I just think that could be a really, really good one. Otherwise, I'm hoping that ranking can lift. I'm thinking that the Crows are going to have gotten a rocket, and I just think he's coming. He either breaks out like this year or next year, and has a really good. He'll have a 90, 100 year 1 year. Probably a bit early this year, but maybe next year. But anyway, I guess that's the team. That's what's been happening. As I said, if you want to follow along in the future, go ahead, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.